It's wild to think about the idea that there's this being chilling inside of us who is actually the one calling the shots and creating all sorts of things in our lives. It's like having your own personal little deity hanging out within you, shaping your experiences and guiding you along your path. Some may call it intuition or gut feelings, but hey, maybe it's just this powerful force within us that knows exactly what we need and how to manifest it. So next time you're faced with a tough decision or feeling lost, remember that the Creator is right there inside of you, ready to help steer you in the right direction. If the being chooses to close the eyes while standing in front of a tiger, then the tiger will disappear, as the tiger is only created by the being. The question then arises is, what if the tiger eats the being? The tiger could eat the being, in which case the body or perception organs would disappear, leaving the being intact to go on and find another set of organs and body to start the perception all over again. From the being's point of view, the tiger has gone. From the person's point of view, the tiger is there. Essentially, on the material level, we consist of a body which contains a brain, and on the non-physical level, we have a mind and consciousness. The mind uses the brain and body's 5 senses, sight, sound, touch, smell and taste, to experience the world. The mind is the thing that causes the brain to think. Without the mind, the brain is functionless. This can be seen in a dead body which still has a brain intact but does not function. The consciousness, which is the being who is aware of what is happening, is the real you. Thus, the mind is effectively the disturbance caused in consciousness, and the brain is the organ which is disturbed by the mind, and the being's soul or spirit is the everlasting self. When we speak of the material world, we usually think we are referring to the underlying reality, the world that we are perceiving out there. In fact, we are only describing our image of reality. The materiality we experience, the solidness we feel, the whole of the real world that we know are all aspects of the image created in the mind. They are part of our interpretation of reality. Paradoxical as it may sound, matter is something created in the mind. When we realize that everything we know, including the whole material world that we experience out there, is part of the phenomenon, the image constructed in consciousness, we find the truth is a complete reversal of our everyday view. Matter, as we know it, is a creation of consciousness. Thus, the ultimate nature of reality, the reality we experience, is consciousness. Space, time, matter, energy, the whole substantial world built up from our sense perceptions is created within consciousness. The essence of this whole phenomenal world is not matter but consciousness. When we look at the world, we do not see consciousness out there. All we see are the various forms and qualities that consciousness has taken on. To us, the material world appears to be devoid of consciousness. The reason we do not find consciousness in the world we observe is because consciousness is not part of the picture generated in our minds. It is the canvas on which the picture is painted. But when we mistakenly assume that the picture of reality painted in our mind is the underlying reality, we find ourselves presented with a very difficult question regarding consciousness. How does conscious experience arise or emerge from matter? This is the so-called hard question to which many scientists and philosophers are currently devoting considerable time and attention. The question these people are actually asking has more to do with our image of reality than the fundamental reality. They are asking how it is that a complex network of neurons can give rise to conscious experience. How does something as immaterial as consciousness arise from something as unconscious as the material world? Is it a result of the complex patterning of data across the neural net? Or is it something else? The real question is, how is it that matter, space, time, color, sound, form, and all the other qualities we experience emerge in consciousness? What is the process of manifestation within the mind? Another recurrent question concerns the seat of consciousness. Where is the self, our sense of I-ness, located? Is it in the brain? If so, where? Despite much thought and discussion, no one has yet come up with clear answers to such questions. As with some of the other problematic issues we have looked at, this one too stems from confusing the two realities. The question that is actually being asked is, where is consciousness located in our image of reality? There are two answers to this question. On the one hand, Consciousness is not located anywhere within the world, the whole world, our entire image of reality, including our bodies and brains, is itself a manifestation within consciousness. Consciousness is the container of our world, it is not contained within it. On the other hand, we do clearly experience ourselves to be located somewhere within that image. We have created this image of reality and have quite naturally put ourselves at the center of this image. The whole world we have constructed is constructed around a central point, the center of our perception. The central point of most of our sensory experience is somewhere in the middle of the head. We see ourselves to be somewhere behind the eyes, and hear ourselves to be somewhere between the ears. This is where we quite naturally place ourselves within our image of reality. Since the brain is also located in the middle of the head, it is easy to assume that consciousness is somehow located in the brain. But this need not necessarily be so at all. In short, consciousness is not located anywhere within the world, it is that within which the world is located. But we create a sense of location for ourselves within our image of the world by placing ourselves at the center of our perceived world. A second recurrent theme in mystical literature is the knowledge of being one with all things, the realization that I am the universe, that all is me, and all is in me. As before, these are not necessarily the ravings of a deranged mind. In most spiritual traditions they signify a high state of consciousness, and generally come from adepts with many years of inner exploration. It is far more likely that they represent people who have experienced firsthand that the entire universe, everything we know from the cells in our bodies to the distant twinkling stars, exists within consciousness, not the other way around. Far from suffering from an illusion, a person in this state is knowing the phenomenal reality for what it is. It is we who are under an illusion when we believe that the world we see around us is actually around us, not within us. These inner explorers have discovered that it truly is all in the mind. Religion and philosophy have evolved, as consciousness has tried to understand itself and explain its relationship to what it sees as the physical universe in which it seems to operate. Great thinkers and teachers from different religions and philosophies throughout time have described their view of who we are, where we are, and what we are doing here. Much philosophical thinking has been prompted by the anomalies in human behavior and the seemingly unpredictable phenomena occurring in the universe, giving rise to the question, is there a purpose to it all, or is it just a random series of events?